Hello everybody and welcome to the video. Today we're going to be looking at Garrett Nussmeier. I was actually watching Wisconsin safety Hunter Wohler and this game kind of flashed to me, and I know Nussmeier is kind of a hot topic in college football, so I thought, hey, why not go ahead and evaluate him, see if he's legit, and he looked pretty legit on just a surface scan, so I can't wait to dive in here deep in a film breakdown. So let's hop right into it without further ado. So first play of the game right here, 1st and 10, they are on their 7, and in the first quarter, not even a second clicked off the clock, and we'll have Garrett Nussmeier taking the snap, looking and throwing out to the flat. That's actually Malik Nabers. Good job knowing your playmakers. Obviously, this is just a first play and getting it out to Malik Nabers in space. Go let him make a few yards when you're starting at your 7. Here he is throwing him in motion and then stepping into the throw. He'll kind of fade from right to left here, start, and without taking any steps backwards, he actually starts left, getting that back foot drive and power with the right foot here, driving through the front foot and getting it out to the flat pretty quick. And this is an important skill to have. This is much later down the drive. He's just been checking it down, but that right there is a nice ball. Get him in stride, have and set up, I guess, with the lead blockers out and running. You have all 3 of these, and it's important to hit this guy in stride, meet the route, and then he is going to have the momentum carrying up field other than anything else going on, carrying him elsewhere and letting even that guy, you see this guy breaks right in here, mows over number 12, and he's going to get back there. And if he has to stumble back here, he's going to have that angle on 27 that's going to be dropping in here on the check. So what he's going to be able to do is outrun him and keep that stride and momentum carrying upfield. And this is the play that really intrigued me when watching Hunter Wohler to evaluate him in this game. I watched this play here where Nussmeier, no scrambling or anything, escapes the pocket and actually works out of a generally clean pocket though.40 did you see that throw there? So he's going to step back, have a few, and then look downfield. This about 40 yards, something like that, and just be able to deliver it from here. And it didn't even look like he's trying too hard. Did carry it a little bit out of bounds, but that's more Brian Thomas fading that way as well. Definitely catchable ball that he placed there. I mean, this is pretty good on the run out there, and he loaded up pretty good there. Still on this first drive, and we're going to be looking at a play that you might want to ding him for, take his few steps back. He's going to hit that back foot and try to fit it over a few, but also with pressure in his face because he waits a little bit longer. But the thing you'll notice right away, the way that the defense vacates downfield right away, he's flat, he's fading back, everyone there. So you're going to have number 2 just flying wide open down here, but he's still going to look for generally aggressive play when you're looking at this. He's still sitting in that pocket, and you didn't really see too much of the pressure there, but in this angle you'll be able to see it a little bit better as Hunter Wohler actually does kind of crack into that pocket. But we'll go back to this first angle to show you what he's trying to do and why this ball kind of airs out. So he kind of releases and does it without too much space to move his feet here, but you're going to see these 2 defenders, and he's going for Brian Thomas here, and he has this guy over top, so he has to layer the throw to fit with Brian Thomas on this play. And what he ends up doing is just overdoing it a bit and still, avoiding disaster and an interception. But in this situation, I would just be taking the yards. Brian Thomas over top with 2 defenders. I mean, you could try to get fancy and do it, but he did have the limited area in the pocket, like we mentioned, and I'll show you, to move his feet and whatnot. So right here, he decides to throw it. There's no stepping into this throw. There's no movement in the pocket to gather himself into the throw. So this one just ends up airing out. So start on the next drive here. 1st down, 10 to go. Ball on their 25. Fresh drive, fresh start. He's going to take his snap, he's going to fade back and hit the mark on that throw, which is really nice because he did allow this, and this is something that's kind of minor and probably not worth pointing out, but when he snaps the ball, you're going to see he's fading right away. It's because he has a couple of guys that are going to leak out of the backfield there, or leak off the line into the play, or back into the play, I should say, that are going to develop a little bit late here. And so he's going to buy himself some time, preconceived the fact that he would need to buy some time in case he saw a blitz or anything, and did the right thing, step back and step into this throw and hit him right in the money. You don't want to see these type of throws get lost on him as well. So it's nice that he's at least checking that box and carries Mason Taylor right out of bounds. But still, again, just hitting him right there. A subtle throw on first down. Love to see that. So they're heading into 3rd and 2, still on the same possession, same set of downs as well. And we might see him getting a little bit interesting here because they tend to put the ball into his hands. They've been dealing with Jayden Daniels all day long. You have to think, where is the coverage not going to be at? And something, you know, hindsight, pockets closing in. Mason Taylor works his way wide open here. This is the wide open part of the field. This is the vacated zone. Mason Taylor then working there because of the defenders 2 down here to cover this guy. So just, again, hindsight, maybe more advanced. But then you have 17 who's just going to be dragging underneath. And if you're going to make this decision, you need to make it now and throw it and give him room before he gets to the second defender to catch and then get up. It looks like the sticks are like right here. So just to get past that point, maybe leak up that way or contest this guy physically with some contact involved, but instead drags it out a little bit. Second defender closes and ultimately makes the quote-unquote wrong decision in this situation. 1st and 10, new drive once again. Good protection on this play. He's going to step back, get comfy in the pocket, readjust his eyes, arms, and make the nice throw here. I want to see it from this angle specifically, looking at the stripe on his helmet to see where he's looking and how he's maneuvering his feet and the pressure. He does a nice job. He does kind of plant though. He's not really real fluid. There's a little bit of panic here when the pressure's closing in. He's going to kind of dance around flat and then he's going to stay flat. You'll see his feet like kind of never really leave the ground or settle. They're going to plant quickly and he's fading forward with the rest of his body, throwing a nice ball. Eyes readjust, calculate the throw, get it out and get a nice window, you know, throw, but leads into traffic, which is fine. 2nd and 7, and we've seen quite the check down short game with Garrett Nussmeier to this point, but they're going to try to stretch it out on this play and get a little bit different. He's going to get to the back of his drop and shred the seam. And what he's doing here, I mean, you're looking at a single high. He starts to drop. So you have the linebackers pretty much stationed here and here. Hunter and his hips are pointed up that way. His eyes are pointed up that way. This guy has eyes here. Hips are more towards here. And Mason Taylor is going to work to this open space. And Garrett Nussmeier does a good job seeing that and then putting it right there on his numbers down the seam as well. Just throwing laser down. Good arm, good throw in general. And again, luxury of the clean pocket. Very nice 4-man rush. He's going to have the time, but he didn't even need it. Honestly, it's a pretty good job hitting his back foot, getting the ball out on what looks like his probably second read, or he could have been throwing the safeties right and then working back left to that seam. So 1st and 10, right after that last play that we just saw, Garrett is going to have the ability to either throw it downfield, or he can just check it down, get the open yards. And where are you going to have that? You're going to have that right here with Brian Thomas, the speed threat. This guy has eyes on it. So once he makes that catch, he's going to have the angle on Brian Thomas here. But you also have this guy working up and open. You have his eyes, his hips, and Hunter Wohler, who's kind of just fading to who knows where. But you'll have him just try to uncork it out, you know, try to get it to what looks like number 1. And it's not a bad read, honestly, when you're looking at it. I mean, he has open space, just needs to beat Hunter Wohler, to be fair, and just couldn't. Hunter Wohler does a good job closing in and capturing, or I guess getting the angle and covering that up pretty well. Instead of hitting Brian Thomas a little bit lower, I mean, what you could do, make that decision a little earlier, but I don't know. So they had like a failed screen and then a call. So that puts them in 3rd and 15. What will Garrett Nussmeier do? Oh, well, they jump off sides or false start, whatever you want to say. And so he's just going to hit his little hook here and try to get it to, I believe that is Brian Thomas, is just trying to make a little bit of a play on what seems like a free play. So it's now 3rd and 10, still the first quarter of this game, by the way. You'll have Garrett, who is going to just throw it out to the swing. Again, very nice placement as well. We'll talk about it again, to the point where he's carrying out this way, and he's going to want to gather momentum up the field where the 2 blockers are here as well. And so Garrett's going to have to hit him in stride, give him at least the chance to follow on this play. And they do a great job. Did they get to the sticks there? I think that might have been a first down. Hard to tell, but Nussmeier hitting the back foot, giving him room up. And no, they came up just short of the sticks. Going back and looking at it, I saw 3rd and 15. And so apparently this referee over here threw a flag. So on the play, I don't know why. I couldn't tell you. They don't really specify these things on tape, but maybe a legal man downfield or something. I don't know. But 3rd and 15, the very next play, Garrett Nussmeier hits his back foot, lets it go short. They're sick of this drive. They've been on the field a while and wanted to, I guess, isolate one-on-one with the tight end. Couldn't do much, wrapped up, and that puts them short of the sticks once again. But it did put them in a spot where they could compete at 4th and 6. So you have Garrett Nussmeier, who, I mean, this is just a broken play from the start. What happened here? Looks like what did he see here? Why are we doing this? Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, so this guy is just gonna be trotting along, trying to get off the field. And what didn't happen is he didn't get off the field. Nussmeier then drops back, realizes it, tells his guys to, hey, scoot over a little, and then nothing really happening. Hits this guy, I think that was right in the mouth. Tyler Lacey, or I forget what his name is, but yeah, that's right in his face. That literally hit his face mask. But Nussmeier on the roll, back across, and boom, Tyler Lacey didn't come down with it. 2nd and 5, we'll actually talk about this play. Ended up being an incompletion, but still great ball location. Guy in his face. He's not really too scared, and he's layering it over a defender on this as well. So you're going to see this guy is going to be coming in from here. He's going to be on a blitz. He's going to get in and try to pressure, but then he has a layer here, and he's gonna have to get it over. And I'll let this play out for you guys to see it a little bit more visually. So you're gonna have this guy over the top, and you're gonna have this guy underneath. What you're trying to do, again, fit it in this zone. You have this many yards and this many yards on both sides of Brian Thomas. You have the guy in your face as you're throwing it, and he ends up, I believe, just kind of airing this one towards the sideline. It's, again, still good ball location, and getting it towards the sideline and getting out more towards this way than it is flying back towards the I guess the risky part where the defender's at. So you're gonna have Brian Thomas just can't reel it in, leaving them in a 3rd and 5 scenario where Garrett Nussmeier will then take a step back, and first read, let it out, didn't look anywhere else, didn't even think to improvise a little here. He just saw, probably, if I was assuming anything, this guy playing off, and then you see this is man coverage, man-to-man between, I believe that's number 11 and 27, and he was a little bit behind trailing that route. So you're going to assume your running back's a little bit faster in this scenario and can get out to that, but instead there's another defender that works off, that had good awareness, and that gets out there a little quicker and just stops them really short of the sticks, and leaving them in a simple 4th and 1 scenario. Well, they'll probably try to run, but gets it out in time. Again, I don't know where pressure was. Let's see how this pocket turns out. Perfect pocket. Didn't even think to look anywhere else, and didn't quite get to them past the sticks for the first down. 3rd and 5 ball on the 45, and you'll see Garrett here readjusting some of the offense, getting the guys all sorted and in the right places. You take the snap, look, and throw. And he has it. I mean, this is just bad coverage, to be honest. You see this line right here, right there on the 50. That is where you need to be covering. You can't allow your receivers to just stop right there, and Garrett's going to hit him well. But the defense is just playing a little too far off, and I would like to see a better defense here because it would challenge a little bit more of Nussmeier and his ability, but just did the right route, or read the right way, whatever it was. Adjusted correctly, threw it to the point where he had the room even after the catch with the defender a little bit off to get an extra 3 or so yards. Really pretty play. This is just a play after the one we just watched. 1st and 10. He's going to be stepping back, keep the safety down the middle, if I'm not mistaken. Well, I think he's actually started where he was throwing the ball and then ends up, yeah, so he started, okay, this is interesting here. Maybe a little bit of a habit thing going on, but he's going to take the snap and look at where his eyes go. It's going to go here. And he's like, oh, wait, I shouldn't be doing that. I should hold the safeties. Okay, holding the safeties now, and then back there. And then we're going to throw this little back shoulder, get lost on the route here. You're going to have this guy that looks like he's committing heavily upfield. So the defender's going to carry heavily upfield with the receiver. He's going to have Garrett Nussmeier throwing the back shoulder before his head's even up. Great connection there with those receiver. Great job reading each other in this situation. Maybe always supposed to be a back shoulder on that, but it's also a good job if it's improv to the point where you see he has the leverage over the receiver, is going to carry that upfield. So now this is the time to attack the back shoulder where the defense would be vulnerable. Little display of arm talent here, just a tad bit, and he's going to throw with a nice, I mean, it's a little bit of a sidearm, still has it up a little bit towards his ear, and he's just going to get that out. But you see the, not the swagger, but the ability to just hit the back foot and then kind of little fire on that thing, get it out and get it there. I mean, the camera can't even track that. So just a nice display of, again, arm talent, giving his receiver enough time after the catch in open space as well. So getting it there quick enough to the point where if it was a floater, he wouldn't have as much time and the defense closes in on his receiver and it wouldn't allow some of this extra yards after catch. Oh, okay, here we go. 1st and 10. We're actually going to have a little display of an anticipatory throw with Garrett Nussmeier, who, boom, steps into the motion, and he's starting now. Where is this receiver? He's not even in a break, and little spoiler, by the way, he's going to be running an in-breaking route just kind of over the middle. So Garrett Nussmeier is going to try to get it out, and he does hit him. It's a tad bit behind and just right there on his hip behind, but, I mean, this ball is out before in really when he's breaking out of that. It's great anticipatory work here with the receiver and both the obviously the quarterbacks involved. Gets it out. Tyler Lacey, I believe is his name. I'm kind of guessing. I think I saw him on the depth chart one of these days. Nussmeier fails to put it in stride, but puts it there. Receiver should catch and come down with that for sure. But you see ball's out. He's a little scared into the pocket too. If you watch Garrett Nussmeier after the throw here. So he's going to throw, and then he's going to have this guy wrapping around and this guy pushing into his tackle who's going to try to, close it in here. It's a little bit, it's not worrying by any means, but when someone's that kind of cautious in the pocket, I don't know how he'd be under pressure throwing the ball. One of the best throws to this point, by the way, and this is just a play after the drop. So it's 2nd and 10. And one of the best throws, like I mentioned, probably the best throw. Other than that, maybe the long 40 whatever yarder, but Nussmeier's going to, I don't know, leave the pocket. It's probably designed, definitely designed. So Nussmeier's going to roll out, and he's going to actually throw to Brian Thomas here in this situation, which looking at it from here, yeah, he has a lane, but he needs to rifle that thing just right there before he can close, before he's getting there, and to the point where it's not too high that this guy runs and maybe the ball soars, whatever the situation ends up being, but does a great job getting it over number 24, which I believe Hunter Wooler. Nope, that's not him. That's 14. And number 9 then comes crashing in. But you see his eyes aren't even on Brian Thomas. Sees him, throws it all in one motion. It's kind of risky when you're just looking at him for a split second, then throwing it in this sort of situation. If you have your eyes dragging on that long, locks on, and then throws just within even a second there, it is a little risky because you're not really reading it a whole lot. And I think he understands that. If you watch his body language here after this throw is completed, he's kind of not saying he's not celebrating, because this is a great throw, but maybe didn't see everything there. So when he's down here, you're going to see him do a little, not like a whoosh, thank God, but like kind of, oh, okay, all right. That got me. 1st and 10, he's been good. It's 40 seconds until halftime. Ball on your own 35, and this is where he throws his interception, which, yeah, quite a bummer. Especially in this situation. I mean, look how close they are to field goal range. Whatever. Garrett Nussmeier going to take a good look at the field, and he's not going to take this because it's 40 seconds till half. So he's going to try to extend, and like I said, everything's been working for him up to this point. He's gotten lucky and just avoided some risky plays. And then this one comes along, you're going to be like, whoa, what a brain dead throw, Garrett. Why are you doing this? Because it ends up carrying into the defender's lap as Brian Thomas is coming out of his break, right? And he's going to try to stay here in this nice little soft spot he has built here, but this guy's going to jump the route. It's going to be an interception, blah, 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 whatever you want to say. Yes and no. And you see Garrett Nussmeier here. He's going to be pretty fired up. He's going to be pretty frustrated. If you watch his body language after this throw, he's going to be a little, pissed off. He's supposed to be like, hey, you're supposed to be running across, right? And I took a second look at this and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, he's on an in breaker. He's supposed to be carrying across the middle of the field here. Brian Thomas is meant to be running, breaking, and then running across here, following that sort of rhythm. And maybe this is your option here. But Nussmeier saw something, and so what you're expecting Brian Thomas to do is then carry that way, right? No, instead stops the route when it would be perfectly thrown. If he had just kept going, he would have had the receiver boxed out, but no, instead lets up, starts to kind of float here instead of carrying on, and the corner actually read the ball quicker than Brian Thomas and got to the ball quicker than Brian Thomas. But you see Nussmeier is pretty frustrated with this one, but it is actually also another reason why it's a great throw. If you watch this, boom, it doesn't even have to look at number 17. He's going to get pressure on Campbell, the tackle, on the outside, and so you're going to see him then scoot up in the pocket, right? Then roll out, and boom. It's not a crossbody, but it is a little flashy. Nice little arm angle in there as well. It just ended up not really connecting with the receiver there, and it gets picked off by number 2. 2nd and 11, they just had a run that went for virtually nothing, and you'll have another play here where it's kind of a display of arm talent, but also a little bit of smarts. So the ball's out here, and you have all this open space. You have a triangle here, and so you're going to have Lacey right up the middle of it. So what you're going to try to do, just hit him there, make sure he can get the first down yardage and just yardage in general. Obviously, that's your objective. So gets it out and just gets it there with enough time for the receiver to catch the ball, brace for impact instead of being broken up or even intercepted, layered throw. Something could always happen. Understands the situation, fits it right there in the gap, and gets that first down yardage, moves the chains. Nussmeier just to play after, and I don't want to portray him as someone that's not willing to take the underneath and short stuff, so he does here with Brian Thomas. Ends up working out big for him, and you want to know why. And Nussmeier, you'll see him evaluating quicker downfield, maybe gets his peripheral on this to the point where he knows maybe can't hang in here forever. So maybe looking at a little bit of what's going on here. There's a whole debacle, but you're going to have this guy coming across, which actually ends up being Brian Thomas, who ran a 4.3 something, a 4.34 or something in the 40-yard dash. So it's going to work out well for him. He beats defenders to the outside, and maybe that lets him know, hey, maybe it is all right to check up underneath. They can lead to big plays, and you know, you don't have to throw it downfield to get bigger plays. But you see him, he's kind of evaluating downfield, gets back to his second or whatever read. Brian Thomas was working in open space underneath and getting some reliable yardage there. And here's another great throw, and we'll see what they're looking at here. So 2nd and 3, and he has the balls to let this go, which honestly, not balls at all, because I would have been doing the same thing if I'm Garrett Nussmeier and I was that talented. But you're going to have Brian Thomas working here. This guy not know what's about to hit him. Brian Thomas then flies past him. Nussmeier had the ball in the air and gets it there. Honestly, looking at this right here, he's throwing in full confidence. The ball's out. The ball is at a trajectory that is already going to be, you know, as you saw, pretty good. But look at this. This is where his receiver's at compared to the corner. So the ball's in the air. The corner is looking, so I would assume he knows that. Brian Thomas isn't. So he's going to, you know, rely on Brian Thomas and basically throw with a whole bunch of confidence on this. Brian Thomas then tracks the football, coming down, boom, right into his arms. Number 10 didn't stand a chance with the throw and with the speed of Brian Thomas. A great combination, and you'll see how easy this looks for Garrett Nussmeier, just cocking it up and letting that shoulder and wrist sort of fly. I want to see where... Yeah, I mean, it's pretty tight as well. It's a nice little motion there. Brian Thomas in the end zone. Nussmeier pretty fired up about it. Here we go again with the short game and around the line of scrimmage. Little play action, pull it up and out. Mason Taylor right there on that shoulder. It's really, really nice placement from him. Ball location to lead his receiver upfield. Didn't really capture that in that second angle, but still really not advanced, but solid. And you want to see this early in someone's game, at least, again, checking another box. 1st and 10, fresh set of downs. It worked once, it might work again. Nussmeier then steps back, hits his back foot, and sees the same situation. Brian Thomas, it almost worked. They did draw a flag, got a lot of yardage off that, but maybe got a little too, I don't know, confident here. This one just isn't always going to work, but they did indeed draw a DPI, and it wasn't the best ball location on this one. It's going to land on the inside here when you wanted to typically, you know, lead him up this way. It's going to land more here. That way he has to adjust and get around and kind of leverage his way out of that situation, and that, you know, that leverage wasn't allowed by the defensive back, so it ends up being defensive pass interference. You see the flags flying. All right, here we go. We got a little trickery here. And why am I starting at mid-play? Well, because it's a pretty long one. It's going to be all the way back, and you're going to see where he's throwing this freaking ball from. Under pressure, by the way. This guy's going to close him by the time he gets the ball out, but you see he's throwing from here. And by the way, he's targeting this guy down here, so just something to keep an eye on. Nussmeier going to let it fly, and I thought he completed this one while it was in the air, but just faded a little too far out of bounds. But you see he gets kind of drilled, and the ball ends up just outside. What I mean just outside, I mean it's a long throw that he's putting together here, and just misses the field. And it would have been such a legendary play had Nussmeier completed and somehow pulled that I guess trick out of his hat. Here we go, another sign. I don't know what down it was, that's my bad. So 2nd and 7. You're gonna have Nussmeier looking at it the whole way, and it's Brian Thomas. No, it's not. It's number 17, whoever the hell that is. He's going to hit here. Okay, another little anticipatory throw. Love these. And the ball's already up. I mean, he's gonna let this go real soon. And here's the play. You have this guy, I mean, out of the play completely, but fading inside with number 2 and sees some man here. So he's gonna be carrying up on a nice little outside fade. And look at that. Bloop, right there in his bucket. This is great stuff from Garrett Nussmeier getting to the back of the end zone. Man, I really do love Garrett Nussmeier and the ability he shows in very small, sample sizes, but golly, I might have him higher once I get to him. I don't know if he's going to declare this year even, by the way, but this is just such a pretty pass, and you're going to see Nussmeier hit the back foot and let this one go with some nice little touch on it, get to the back of the end zone. I don't know if this was even called a touchdown. So yeah, that last play was called a touchdown. You'll see here they are still facing a 3-point deficit. 1st and 10, ball on the 19, 3rd quarter. 2nd and 15, you must have it, but this would be a great spot to pull a nice little trick here, or pull out a good play, gain a yards, whatever, chunk play. Garrett Nussmeier, and this might be where some of the inexperience comes in here. You're gonna see him adjust really quick. It's better from this angle. I know you guys don't even know the result of the play here, but we'll show you. Nussmeier, boom, ball's getting thrown. It's out of his hand before he can even process that. Nobody's home. Nobody is there to receive this ball when Nussmeier turns, throws, and whoa, where is the guy? What are we doing? And yeah, just a little miscommunicado. And I mean, he had space. Brian Thomas in space. Scary sight. Ball's out. He starts to carry upfield. Ball's gonna land, down here. I don't know if it was even intended for him or him, but based off of Brian Thomas's expression after the play, I would assume it was supposed to be going to Brian Thomas, who he had in space. Just a little miscommunication, or didn't quite get an understanding of what was happening, and so ends up just kind of blowing it. 3rd and 4, still trying to save the game. You're still 3 points down, and you're 1 drive past the one that we have just watched. That one they did not convert and score on. And so what you're going to have here, another anticipatory throw. I love the fact that he's at least willing to get it out, and he's going to throw it here. This guy does a great job seeing and closing on it, if I do remember correctly. Yes. So this ball's in the air for a really long time. It's floating, and boom, hospital ball. And you see Garrett Nussmeier really not happy with the way he put his receiver into this sort of hit. Luckily, the receiver is bouncing right back up on his feet, but you see Nussmeier lets this one go. It floats for a really long time, letting the safety close in and get an angle on this whole situation that's going on. But I want you to watch Garrett Nussmeier as this follows through. You see him, he's, oh no, I just did that? Quite a bummer, but you see here in the 2nd angle that will show. The ball just hangs in the air, and it's tough not to on this sort of throw, but he thought he might have him. It's trailing, it's floating, and boom. It ends up on 3rd and 4. That's the throw you make. That's the decision, and you put your receiver there, and it's just never a good situation, I'd have to assume, being a quarterback and watching the receiver you're throwing to get drilled quite that hard. Pause. Hang on. All right, you have the luxury. Your defense is held up. I'll put it that way, and it is 1st and 10, but you're on your own too. 6 minutes and 10 seconds left to cook up a comeback, and Garrett Nussmeier, call him a comeback kid. Just not quite on this play. He lets it fly too far out of bounds, and he had this happen before, to the point where it's just fading a little bit and didn't quite have space in the pocket to let this one or guide this one. But it was a one-on-one opportunity. You're looking for a big play. You're trying to get out of a trench that has been dug for your team in this situation. So he's going to let it fly, and it's just a little bit out. They had nice back-to-back runs, getting themselves out of a little bit of a hole, getting 11 yards further up the field. So now it is 1st and 10. You'll see a little play action, nothing going. 12 isn't quite looking in the right spots, so you're gonna live to die another day. This is good. Shows understanding, I guess, is what I'm trying to say, to just get this ball out, live again to die another day. So that's exactly what he does. Just a play after the one we just watched, he's gonna find the soft spot in the zone. And most of this comes with Brian Thomas actually carrying number 2's attention up that way, flat, and he's gonna try to say like, hey, go point here. But yeah, you're gonna have this guy working wide open, and he's going to sit it right there in his lap in the open space, let number 2 work after the play. But you'll see, I'm curious when, and yeah, so he sees this. I don't know if this is quite his first read. He's gonna keep his eyes going. 1, 2, gets his eyes around. Is that 3 reads? And if it is, that's great. 1, 2, and then 3 gets there. It might just be 2 and might have locked on to, you know, the middle there to hold someone, but it's still great work here and shows a little bit of some seniority in his game, getting this ball into that open space. It's nice the way he's layering the football, the way he's doing and operating that play under that pressure in a game-winning drive scenario. 1st and 10 on the 50. You have 4 minutes and 30 left in this game. What is he gonna do? He's gonna take a deep drop, well, not really a deep drop, but he's gonna take a deep shot, and he's gonna throw it down to his receiver inside the 10. He hasn't burnt. It's another one. I don't know if this is the same corner, by the way, but it's another one where this guy just the DB seems to be a little bit lacking halfway through the play, and it still is enough to get there, but ideally you hit that in stride. Still a long throw. I mean, this is what, 45 yards down the field, trying to get it to like about the 10, 12, somewhere 10-7 area. You see him put a lot into this one, get it down. Number 17 is going to have to readjust. Another one that isn't quite right there, but he's going to have to wrap back inside and try to find this. So ball location on the deep balls, especially, you know, 50 plus yards down the field, isn't going to be amazing. Pretty much know that from the start. But Nussmeier loads up, throws it downfield, gives 17 a chance after he had already won the rep, basically. Don't call it a comeback. 2nd and 4. Got 4 to go until the end zone, I believe. Or no, it's a little bit more, maybe 5. But look at that. Brian Thomas right there. Just finds the leverage. So let's diagnose the defense. As it's in the red zone, you're typically going to have guys like that. It's just how most of those formations come in the red zone, especially this close to it. And you're going to be able to hold and read here, because he's going to be pitter-patter. He's going to be a quote-unquote natural pick or a decision to be made here, because you're going to have these two right here. It depends. Do they switch? Is this how this is going to happen? And most college stuff isn't that elaborate. And so you're going to have 2 guys driving, and this guy's just a little far off. It's a great ball location you have here. Ball's out before he even comes out of the break, and is able to meet him right there while he isn't being closed on. It's a great play, great way to manage that situation, read the situation, and again, find the, I guess, find that open space and the time to throw it. The timing's really good on it. Nussmeier for the game-winning touchdown, basically, I believe, right? This is called a touchdown. Yep, and then goes into the victory formation, takes the knees and whatnot. So that's Garrett Nussmeier's full game against Wisconsin. I obviously didn't show you guys all the plays, and that would take quite a while, but that will be all from me. Thanks for watching. If you guys enjoyed it, go ahead and leave a like, go down and subscribe, go watch any of the past content on the channel. Did a lot of summer scouting rankings if you guys are interested in the 2025 class, and Garrett Nussmeier might be a part of that and was a big part of this video, and I quite like him a lot. I can't wait to watch him through his season with LSU this upcoming season, and I'll be letting you guys know where I stand with most of the 2025 class and guys like Garrett Nussmeier. So come back to the channel if you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time. Deuces.